couple days later, I woke up with Jake saying to me over my face, he's like, okay, honey, so they've diagnosed you with epilepsy. And my first question was, am I going to be able to ever go on stage again?
So you had to relearn everything you said?
I developed something called aphasia, where I was actually speaking backwards and having these hour-long episodes where I couldn't understand speech. There was a fortunate and unfortunate timing with my epilepsy diagnosis. I really think if that wasn't happening and I had to...
It still hits, I don't miss it. It's go, 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 like a go-go flow. And I'm almost done, and I told you so. When I throw these flows, like it's Rochambeau. And I ain't too close, it's Joe Smo goes. And I'm on my grind, that is all the time. I do not do breaks, that's right, I stay in dry. And look, I'm back with a little bit of that, a little more cash than it came in with. Ready, that cat is out that bad, but I still ask you, the boy got skills. I don't need her, I don't need him, I don't need help with me, I got this. I can sing songs, I can spit raps, and I can do both, even do this, word.
This episode is brought to you by Sweat Tent, the pioneers of the portable wood-burning sauna. Did you know that using the sauna 3 to 4 times per week could reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease by up to 50% and make you 60% less likely to experience Alzheimer's disease? That's why I've been a big fan of the sauna for years. But having to go to a crowded gym to do it isn't ideal. And all the at-home options are bulky and expensive. That's why I only use the Sweat Tent for my sauna needs. It's the most storable and affordable wood-burning sauna on the market. It not only takes minutes to set up, but it can reach 200 degrees Fahrenheit in 30 minutes or less. So whether you're enjoying it yourself in your backyard, with friends, or in need of a reliable sauna on the go, Sweat Tent is your best choice for the most portable, storable, and enjoyable outdoor sauna experience. All On The Stacks listeners will receive $100 off when you use code OTS. Visit sweattent.com today to get $100 off your purchase with code OTS at checkout. Again, that's sweattent.com to get $100 off with code OTS. Sweat Tent, helping you fire up your home wellness routine. This episode is brought to you by Burn, the fitness company behind the Today Show approved Burn board. If I'm being honest, working out can be a real chore, especially as a new dad in desperate need of sleep and cardio. Burn is founded by NEPA native Jimmy T. Martin, and his Burn board offers a low-impact core and cardio experience unlike anything I've done before. They have hundreds of on-demand workouts that are great for beginners, seasoned athletes, and out-of-shape podcast hosts who love supporting small businesses. My wife and I use it pretty frequently throughout the week, and it's honestly a great way to burn a ton of calories without burning a ton of cash. Not to mention, it's a great tool for skiers, runners, wrestlers, and hockey players. Jimmy is offering all On The Stacks listeners 15% off when they use the code STACKS15. Visit theburn.com today to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15 at checkout. Again, that's theburn, THEBRRN.com to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15. It's time to get on board today with Burn. This episode is brought to you by Kavanaugh's Grill, one of my favorite places to eat and drink in NEPA. They've got one of the best outdoor patios with 13 TVs and over 20 beers on tap. You can also dine inside at this cozy Irish-style pub where your beer never goes empty. Did I mention how delicious their food is? Their in-house smoked brisket, barbecue ribs, and wings are to die for. So grab your friends and have a drink on me at Kavanaugh's. Mention code STACKS for one free draft beer with purchase of any entree when you dine in. Located at 163 North Main Street in Mountaintop, Kavanaugh's is open at 4 p.m. during the week and 12 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday during football season. Dine in today at Mountaintop's only Irish-style pub. What's up, podcast? It's Bill Corcoran Jr. We are here in Nashville, Tennessee at the Pear Entertainment on Music Row. April Rose Gabrielli, welcome to the On The Stacks podcast.
Thank you.
This is great. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, me too.
We got to do our little...
Are we going to crack it open?
I was dying for the dink.
All right, we're cracking it open.
I think I was...
Always got to do this.
Oh, I didn't do that. Was I supposed to do that?
I don't know. I'm paranoid.
Was I supposed to?
My peeps are from Sicily, dink. So we're all... All right, let's dink it.
Sicily?
Yeah.
I thought you were in a...
Wow.
I thought you were in a street gang.
Well, I can't speak for my ancestors,
okay.
But...
Yeah.
As far as I know, I'm good.
Okay. All right. What do you think?
Wow.
A little tart.
That added some excitement to the day.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh my God.
You got the street gang from Sicily.
Yeah.
Is that where your family's from?
Some. Actually, I just got my, I did an ancestry DNA test.
Did you?
because I've been told my whole life, as far as I'm concerned, I think I'm third or fourth generation Italian on both sides. Most of my family came from Italy and then went to New York, mostly like Queens and Upper Manhattan, and stayed there. And I'm one of the only people that left.
Did you just do the test?
Yeah, recently, because I like to always tell people I'm 100% Italian, 100% Italian. And my partner Jacob is always like, can you really be 100% Italian? Like, I want to know. And it was it's just an ongoing joke because I love being Italian American. A lot of people always say, like, no one loves being Italian more than Italian Americans do.
They sure do.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's upset. The food's good, it's fun, it's very boisterous. And there's a lot of pride in the culture and the way it's been Americanized. But so I did get my test back. I am more Northern Italian, but only it's 60-40 in Sicily, but I'm about like 97% Italian, and the rest is in Greece and Sardinia, which is basically Italy. So,
but only 3% of
but now
else.
But now I know where my love of dill and tzatziki comes from in terms of Greek culture and Mediterranean culture. So
minge,
yeah, it's
right?
perfect.
Is that how they say? They do this. I
don't know. I just like dill.
And dink. Dink.
But dink it. Yeah,
dink.
You want to dink it?
Yeah.
Let's dink it. It's time to dink it.
What do you think? What do I
think of this dink? It's good.
Yeah, and congratulations, by the way, on this studio, this space.
Thank you so much.
This is incredible.
Thank you.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, we met Jeff Peterson. He's an incredible businessman down here, and he's just a great friend. Became a fast friend, and he's been building up a company that he owns called Interstate Music. And that's also, he's got a music row house down here. It's incredible. He collaborated with producer and engineer Greg Collins, who's known for like U2, Kiss Records, any really cool rock act that you know. Greg's probably got something to do with it. So they partnered up. They have a studio, and they're sort of creating this amazing artist hub. And we met them and kind of played our music. They loved it. So, and we just bonded. And he's like, we got to do something together. And they showed us this space that they had, and they asked if we wanted to produce out of it, and we're like, absolutely. So we're partnering with them, with Jeff, Greg, and Interstate Music, and so we're the pair at Interstate now, which is amazing, and we're on Music Row. And basically, we signed our lease here in Nashville May 8th, and 3 months to the day, we got the keys for this place. So it was, it's really something special.
Yeah, it's pretty surreal.
Yeah.
It's funny because, when, everybody, who watches the show, Kulik was on the show. Literally right before you moved here, and April had planned to have April on the show when you guys were back up in the northeastern Pennsylvania area. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry we had to put you in the corner, by the way.
No, it was a joy. It was still a wonderful experience. Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember when he was on the show, like we were talking about it, and you were saying like, hey, like we might have the opportunity, and we might be moving to Nashville. Like I'm not sure when, but if the opportunity comes up, like we're gonna do it.
Oh yeah.
And by the time, because the shows are a little delayed, right? Mm-hmm. But by the time, right after recording, from the time of recording his episode till the release of his episode, you guys had already moved. We had you on the books. We had you on the calendar way back then.
Yep. This was like a month in advance, maybe.
It was like, I think it was like a couple weeks after.
The date was May 22nd. I have a very weird memory because I have synesthesia. So your name, synesthesia, it's sort of a mixing of senses. Like everything I memorize or kind of associate, everything kind of has a color to it. So like your name, Billy, blue, on the socks, blue. May 22nd was blue. Like they all kind of are. If things line up that way where I can see them and feel them in the color, it's going to sound like I don't do any sort of psychedelics. I never have.
Okay. You don't do psychedelics?
I do not. I'm
do you want to?
Not against it. I could, but whatever. I already have this, so I don't really need much more. So so sometimes when things line up so well like that, I will remember them very strangely.
Wow.
Yeah. So synesthesia, it's kind of a mixing of the senses, and a lot of people use it for memory, or they just sort of see color, or they can hear color. Sometimes with music, I can see shapes and things with it. It's very hard to describe, and it sounds a little crazy when it comes out of my mouth, but I just assumed everyone was like that until a friend of mine in high school showed me in a psychology textbook that I wasn't crazy, and it was actually a thing.
Okay, so you've known this for a while.
16, yeah, I've known it since, yeah.
So like, do you how and when do you use it though? Like, do you use it to Like remember people's names? Like, 'cause I'm horrible at remembering people's names.
Yeah, I don't do it. It's not actually like a conscious thing, but like for instance, like I definitely learned how to play piano using color. So like a C major chord would be yellow. C minor is still yellow, but D major is green, and the different sort of shapes. Like if it's a triangle shape that I'm making with my hands, that sort of has its own thing. So yeah, like a lot of my memory is sort of based in colors and shapes and things like that. And I don't really know how else other people would remember things.
Wow.
That's how I've always just done it, and I don't know. I didn't think that was unique.
Give me another example. Like another like unique one.
So when I'm mixing music or
Anything,
sort of
whatever.
Yeah. So when I'm creating a production or trying to fill something out sonically, or if I'm critiquing a mix or something, it actually has to feel like it's the correct shape. Usually, if I want the mix to be warm, it needs to feel like a little bit more rounded out, or if I feel like. A lot of times if I'll hear mixes that have too much low end and the vocal's sort of buried, so that looks kind of like a strange shape. So I kind of base my mixes off of obviously what I hear, but it's kind of the gut feeling mixed with is it creating the right shape? But that's sort of like a shape thing too. And sometimes when I'm producing and choose instruments, I want them to fit a certain color or a certain feeling. So like I said, it kind of weaves itself into everything. And yeah, that's how it goes.
Wow. So someone showed you this when you were 16.
Yeah, I was being made fun of because I remember it specifically because I was saying...
You were being made fun of by like classmates?
No, just me and my one friend. I mean, I was just kind of saying... I was like, yeah, I think I was writing... This is so silly. I was writing in green pen, taking
so you
notes.
remember. Here we go.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't
Live
that
example.
traumatizing.
Yeah.
I was writing in green pen, and we were learning about Germany and global history, and my friend was like, why are you always writing in different colors? And I was like, well, I chose this green pen because, Germany and green, right? It's like the same. Like that's how I for some reason GR green. And then he's like, no, the Germany flag is like red, black, and yellow. And I'm like, yeah, but the word is green. And he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then whatever, time passed, and I was like, whatever. I've always been a eccentric. I've always prided myself on not being very normal, but.
They didn't know about your street gang life.
No, obviously no.
Yeah.
So he came back to me, I guess it was a couple weeks later. I'd totally forgotten about it. And he was like, okay, so in psychology today, I learned about this thing called synesthesia. Let me show you. And it was totally me. And then I kept Googling it after that.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then I would meet other people that kind of had that and was able to actually talk about it. So yeah, it's a fun little part of me.
So why? So the pear, pear's green.
Pear's green. Well, kind of.
I mean, an actual pear is green.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Give me is there a story with that?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, Jacob and I wound up moving basically right when COVID started. We moved out to a suburb of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It was a town of about 4,000 people. I mean, and that's me moving from Manhattan, New York to here, and then in the height of the pandemic. So we moved on to this little back alley. We're two musicians that were touring and have no income. We did as best as we could to get the best place we could.
This is when you were right outside in Harrisburg area?
Right, yeah.
Right.
So and we grabbed this little place on a back alley, and we got approved, and it was on Pear Street. And I just thought it was adorable. I was like, what a cute little place. And then we really didn't start producing music on purpose. We sort of both did it out of necessity because, we both started producing around the same age, about 12, 13 years old. He produced out of a closet. I was producing under a little nook in my childhood home under the stairs. It was such a cool,
It sounds like a really cool spot.
It was such a cool little weird thing. I had a built-in desk, and I just threw all my stuff there. So, we kind of always produced out of necessity because I know, at least speaking for myself, I just thought that's what singers and writers and artists just did. They did it all. So producing was sort of just something I always had done. And then up until, about COVID, we were always doing that here and there separately. Out of the New York area, he had been signed to Sony. I was signed to BMG. as both artists, writers, producers. And so once we moved to Pennsylvania, I think like COVID inspired a lot of people that got laid off or something to just go for their dreams. So there was a rise in musicians and a rise, I guess, in people contacting us both being like, who produces your music? I want to know more about this. I want to work with them. And then we looked at each other like, well, we do it.
That's us.
We do it. And then they're like, oh, what are your rates? And then we were like, I don't know, what are my rates? I don't know. Am I even good enough to do this for someone else? And eventually we had our first couple people join us on that little backroad studio apartment in Pennsylvania. And, we're a pair of producers. We're 2 people and it's Pear Street. So we just thought, let's go with the pair. And honestly, too, because I have a bone to pick because a lot of people, I also like your podcast name because of this, because it's quirky. How's that? Is that okay?
Yeah, I was trying to get, I saw the screensaver go on.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah,
sorry,
probably
I totally kiboshed your story.
It's okay. We probably should have fixed that. But anyway, we'll get a good stretch in.
Yeah, there we
right?
go.
And then we'll
Every
dig
once
it.
in a while.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know where I was.
You're talking about the story with the whole pair and all that.
Oh yeah. So I have a thing with. It's probably good that you cut me off because I'm about to be petty. But I just have a bone to pick. A lot of people, especially in the music industry and the rock world, there's such a insane amount of ego and need to be so intense and cool right off the bat. I didn't want something that was we had like the black graphics and it's like Death Trip. Like fucking metalhead, like media. I'm like, listen,
that was
like,
good.
Yeah, it's just too much, and it's just like, just be cool, do your work, have fun,
Yeah, like it doesn't have to be intimidating.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be all ego-driven and weird. So like, that's like, I like your podcast name. It's funny, it has a cool story, it's quirky, and I just feel like we just went with the pair. It's our real story. We love color and warmth and nature, and it's a big part of like what we do and how we started. So yeah, that's kind of just how it came to be. There wasn't much intention behind it other than just the truth of the story.
Yeah. So tell me how you really feel about the music industry.
It's treated me, honestly, as much as I've had, ups and downs, like it's treated me so kindly, especially moving to Nashville. There's been so much support here and kindness. Even just at the different offices we both work out of, they've all just taken us in and yeah, just been kind to us. And the cool thing about Nashville is you can kind of get in a room with anybody of any level, and they'll, if you can do the work and you can prove yourself and hang, it's cool. It's not this weird, like I said, ego-driven sort of, I'm better than you and I'm not going to let you work with me because I have this and you don't. And, so... And I've tried to really adopt that too, even prior to moving to Nashville, just being open to people who are just starting or want to know more about what we're doing in terms of producing and creativity. So, I always try to be open to people of all levels because obviously, like, someone has to let you in and someone has to foster your initial creativity and interests. I think that's just so important because I want there to be a more creative world, so yeah, the music industry is the music industry, but I wouldn't be able to have the life that I have without it. So I'll feel grateful to it, and yeah.
Yeah. So all right, so take me back to New York City. What was it like growing up there?
So I grew up on Long Island until I was about 18, and I would visit my father in New York City from when I was about like 13, 14, kind of, as much as I could. And basically the first time I woke up in New York City while staying with him, I knew, I was like, I have to live here. There was something about the frequency of New York City and the chaos, but the calm. And I just fit there. I don't know why. So I moved there for college when I was 18. I didn't get into music school, so I went to business school instead. I think that was great. It really chiseled my mind because music, or in my world of music, it has been mostly a business. So it's helped me run my production business. It's helped me take meetings as a musician and whatever. So so I went there. I went to business school in New York City, and on the side, I worked at Off-Broadway theaters. I worked at the Blue Man Group, which was super fun.
Yeah.
It's a great company, really great people. A lot of other artists sort of, working there and taking usher shifts and things like that in between. So I worked in all these different departments there, which was amazing. So I was still around music, and that was just a really great company to work at. And then when I wasn't doing that, I did random temp jobs and things like that. And then I started to think, strategically. I was like, okay, well, so how am I gonna live in New York City as a young single woman in her early 20s, make enough money, and really become a musician and do what I want to do full time. So I kind of had the strategy of joining as many bands as possible as like a backup singer and a piano player, because you don't just make money as a lead singer. In my experience, I can't, as much as I wanted to just be a lead singer at that point in my life and the way that things looked where I was at, you can't just do that unless you wanted to play covers or, so I was like, well, I think it would be a good opportunity for me to network and actually make money if I could provide a service for people, so that's where I feel like the business training helped, because it's always like find out where you can add value. So the way I could add value is I was a chick in the music industry, and everyone wanted to add a chick into their band, and that's a big reason I was hired, which is kind of sad to say, but I mean, I backed it up. I could play and sing, but people are like, oh, you just look so cool on stage with us. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever I got to do to get the gig. I didn't do anything raucous. I just was a girl. I just existed as a woman.
Yeah.
So from there, that was kind of my path, and I did that for a while. And through that, I was able to become a full-time musician. And that helped me pursue my own artist project and a band that I was in. And then through all that, I met Jacob Kulik, and I joined his band as a singer and a keyboard player. And
Where did you meet? Did you meet in New York?
So he actually, so we went on Long Island, actually.
And he's right here, by the way. So everybody, I'm like looking over here. I'm like, I'm like referring over here.
Yeah, no, anybody who knows me knows that me and Jake are always within about 8 to 10 feet of each other, if not closer. So yeah, which I love about our lives and how we work. It's just awesome. So it's so super fun. But yeah, so my band, it was called the Rose Monarch rock band, opened for Jake's band when they were traveling through Long Island. And it was a crazy gig just because it was like raining. It was like the Monday after Thanksgiving. It was just the weirdest show. And I was actually on a show hiatus with my band at the time because we were trying to write a record. And it's hard to coordinate a band with 5 people and get all those things taken care of. So we're like, let's just take off with shows. It's the holidays, whatever. But then this guy, a booker I used to work with on Long Island, emailed me and he's like, hey, this cool band from like RCA is coming through. Like, you should definitely open for them. And I'm like, yeah, I couldn't say no. So I was like, all right, let's do it. I was close to saying no, but I was like, I can't. Like, my gut was telling me to say yes. So yeah, I opened for him. And it was really great. And I actually, it's really funny, and I'm sorry to admit this, but I think you already know. I was one of those like douches that like did my set and then like kind of like left the venue just to chill, and I didn't really catch the beginning of his set. But our good friend Kevin, who's like, if you know the pair, he's kind of like the third secret member. He's not really secret, but he's always in on our productions too. A lot of my record, a lot of Jake's records. Kevin texted our band group chat and was like, yo, this guy's got really good songs. Like, he's great. You got to come in here. So I was like, okay, let me see. Kevin's got great taste in music. So I was like, let's see what the deal is. And then I caught his set, and he's like playing a ton of instruments, and he's like got the things, got a great voice and great songs. I'm like, oh yeah, good. I'm glad I didn't, miss this. So then after that, I was like, you were awesome. And we met, and then we like scheduled, we were like, we got to get a time to write after the holidays. So yeah, we just kind of became friends from there, and we just got along so well. And we wrote our first writing session was for a song that Jake wound up cutting as one of his singles called Scatterbrain. And we wrote that, I think, in early February. So that there was November, and then early February we had the song, and then he asked me to go on tour with him in March of 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of how we met and just started working together.
Wild.
Yeah.
Now here in Nashville.
And now we...
Was it always a goal to come here?
No, it wasn't even ever a goal of mine to leave New York. I mean, it was seriously, I had this famous saying, I was just like, bury me in Queens. Like, I'm here. I love New York. I miss New York still. That my intention. Want to like make
it big in New York.
I don't even know if it's weird. So it's weird because
yes and no.
I moved, and I just wanted to not make it even big, but I wanted to have success wherever I went. But I just love being in New York. I just love existing there. It's for some reason my thing that I love it there. You know, some people like nature. I like the smell of piss, subways, and rats. I don't know why.
Okay, all right.
I don't know what that's about, but it's true. It's like how, you know, some people will drive by a manure field and be like, oh, it's a very nostalgic smell. But you and I think it smells like total shit because it is.
Right.
But to them, it's a nostalgic thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, the goal was never even to leave New York. But I was visiting Jake for my birthday in March of 2020. My birthday's March 16th. And I left New York to go visit him for a weekend in Pennsylvania for my birthday. And they closed down New York City before I could get back. So we wound up living in a hotel together for 10 days. And then we realized it wasn't going to be 2 weeks to a month like they said. So we were both kind of displaced at the time. So we wound up living at his older brother's house for a couple months. And then we were like, yeah, this isn't stopping. Like, we got to get a place. And then that's sort of what led us to being in Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and getting the original pair apartment.
Crazy.
And we were there until we moved here. But yeah, I mean, we've always spoken about Nashville. He's always loved it. I've always loved it. And the more that I became a songwriter and a producer and that became my focus, I realized that this city would offer so much to me in that capacity versus maybe LA or New York or any other scene that's, you know, kind of growing right now. But yeah, we came down here on a Monday. We had a bunch of great meetings and we signed a lease by Thursday. It was just an obvious choice.
Yeah.
It was just an obvious choice.
But I do remember both of you saying, like, yeah, if we might have an opportunity, and if we get it, we're going.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, like, they won't be, you know, so I was saying earlier how we had you on the calendar.
Yeah.
I was like, it'll be after that, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we thought the same. We had plans all the way up until July in Pennsylvania that we had to fly back for.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you know, so it was like, you know, but that's what I like about working with Jacob and just even our lives together as a couple and but as also a working duo as well. When we want to do something, we get it done, and we balance each other out well in that way. And I don't like to waste time. He doesn't like to waste time. And luckily, we both have a very similar vision of where we want our lives to go and how we want to see things grow. So, yeah, I mean, it was such an adrenaline rush. We're adrenaline junkies too. Like, Of course, it's fun.
Yeah, thriving chaos.
We threw out our whole apartment. You know, it was all Goodwill and hand-me-downs and stuff. We threw out our whole apartment in Nashville because we also have half the apartment here. It was so worth it. I would live in a tent here. I don't care. But, you know, it's like, you know, we threw out all our apartment stuff and we just got a U-Haul. We drug the car down here, got the dog down here. And we were here, and it was just a couple days we were here, you know. So
you know what I thought was real interesting, like before we started, like, you know, which probably we'll talk about some of your new music, but you know, Jacob shared a little bit of his new music that he's working on too. But you know, he shared some of his, you shared, you know, a little bit of yours, and you know, talking about you kind of getting back to like your roots, like, you know, where you originally started. But what I kind of thought was interesting, and I guess I wasn't really expecting to hear this from the both of you, but you know, after playing some music and just some other various artists, then you just, I don't know who put it on, I don't know if it was Jacob or you, but you just put on some like chill music. I forget. It was just something called something chill.
Like a piano reading
it was
playlist.
Just it was just like, there was no vocals, nothing, right? It was just chill. And I forget who said it, but you were like, yeah, like when we're not making music, like we actually don't like listening to music. Yeah, we both kind of, you know, have to, your ears get tired. It sounds so silly, like, oh, woe is me. I only listen to too much great music all day. Oh my God. You know, but it helps, like, I don't know, it's more calming and it's more soothing to kind of separate yourself from it. I also think, for me at least, it makes me a little better, and it to give me a better perspective on what I am working on, or when I get back in the room, it just feels a little different. Yeah, so the music that I think either of us listen to for leisure, like when we're working out, is definitely very different than what we work on a daily basis. But yeah, we love calming music. I like quiet, you know. It is very quiet in here. Oh yeah. By the way. It's great. Yeah. It's nice and soundproof. Perfect. Know, for the most part. It's like literally perfect. This is like the greatest. Like Kulak's giving me it's giving me a big smile there, shaking the head, you know. So, but now it is. It's like, I love it. Yeah, I love it. You know, obviously, you know, I obviously as a podcaster have a studio, but like it's not, you know, a music recording studio. Yeah, mine's not as soundproof as this, and it's enough to get the job done. Yeah, right? Of course. I mean, cool. Anything is. We were producing out of bedrooms until we got a real space, and we've had tons of amazing artists come through, make great songs that did well, and they were made out of a bedroom, you know, so you don't need much. I always kind of say, like, the gear that you have doesn't define who you are as a creator, or, you know, what you do. So if you can do so much with less, I think you're even more skilled.
You know what I mean? Rather than being like, "Ooh, I have this and this," and it's like, yeah, okay, but
yeah, it's not always about you know buying the most expensive thing and the money, whatever. And it's like I don't know if it's an actual saying or not, but it's like it's not the car, it's the driver.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's like the same philosophy, right? Speaking of philosophy, somebody's reading a philosophy book over here.
Yeah, I think that's Greg's.
Yeah,
he
Greg,
left it here, and I like the colors.
Yeah, thanks for the chairs, by the way, Greg.
Yeah,
we stole these out of Greg's room.
Yeah,
is Greg? Where is Greg?
He's probably working down the street.
Okay, all right, but we stole these out of his office, right?
Yeah, so, but thanks, Greg. We kind of moved them. They were, I think, in here or somewhere, and then we brought them back in. But yeah, we got to thank him for a lot of stuff. It's amazing to have somebody who's so seasoned and, I mean, people know him. He works on amazing projects. He's really great at what he does. I mean, he's been totally kind to us in helping out with building out the studio and just teaching us things that we don't know much about. And he's just been so kind, for someone who's just so accomplished. It's nice when people are still kind and so approachable.
Yeah, no ego, no big.
Yeah, and I don't know. I can't really say anything bad about him. He's been so nice to us.
I'm kidding. Sorry,
yeah, for now.
Sorry, Greg.
No, he's a good guy. No, he's good, and he's talented, and just, him and Jeff, they're just great people, and I only have gratitude to those who can foster creativity and open up opportunities for people who otherwise wouldn't have them. So yeah. But
yeah, like I said, it's not the car, it's the driver. And it's so true. Because
absolutely.
You don't need a $20,000 camera.
No.
Even though Eric may have one.
Go Eric.
Go Eric. But you could get away with you could shoot in 4K and still do it on a budget, and it holds true in any industry, not just music, not just podcasting, content creation, literally anything. And I think that's a big misconception, even just anyone in any business. I think people think they need money to start, and they need oh my god, I can't afford that or whatever. It's well, you really actually probably could.
Yeah, you could do anything you want.
You just have to get creative.
Yeah, you got to get scrappy.
Yeah.
You can do anything you want. A lot of people don't realize they can do so much more than they they limit themselves in their thinking. You can do so much more than I feel like the world allows you to think that you can do. So I mean, it's limitless. So many people are oh, I want to quit my job. I make so much money though, and I have benefits, but I really just want to be a freelance, whatever. I'm well, just do it. And the freelancing gig might not have the same kind of comfort and stability, but it will bring you happiness, and you find your ways around it. And I think to myself, so many freelancers, so many independent business owners, obviously it can happen. Obviously. And you won't be a millionaire, but you can make the same amount that you would. My goal was always to make the same amount that I would in a regular job. Or a job that, wasn't quite suited for me, but suited for others,
Right.
So, that was my only goal, is just to make a salary that other jobs made and a livable, wage. Ooh, sorry,
we're playing footsie.
There's the first footsie of this.
First footsie of the episode. How far into this? I think we're 20 minutes in. And we're playing. We were taking bets how long it was going to take.
It's all right. I'll hit you later.
Okay, good. Yeah, maybe I'll get you next.
Yeah, all right, cool, man.
Shuffle my feet here.
Yeah.
We'll do a little footsie here.
Yeah.
I hope Eric doesn't mind me saying this, but guy quit his job. Guy just quit his job. I don't even think he's listening. Is he listening?
No. Yeah.
Is he just ignoring me? I think he's just pretending.
Maybe on TikTok.
Is he pretending not to hear me? Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he looks peaceful. That's cool.
Eric quit his job to come to Nashville.
Oh, really?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Cool, dude.
Okay, yeah. Now he's looking.
I love that.
Now he's looking up. Yeah.
I love that. You want to hear something shitty I did once?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to know. I got a business degree, so I wanted to know what the hype was about having a corporate job. So about 6 months after college, I was like, all right, let me just get this out of the way. Maybe I'll love it. So I got a good job, just entry level, but it was well paying, and it was at a company on Madison Avenue in New York. And I took the job for about 3 months, but then I had to go record a record. You usually don't get PTO. I don't know if this is normal, but you didn't get PTO until 6 months in or something. But I was only 3 months in. But I needed to go record my record, my one of my first records with my first or second band, and it was really important to me. It was the first time I was the lead singer. So I was like, well, I got to go record a record. And he's like, so I got to get that paid time off though. And he's like, well, you just got to stick with us or whatever until that 6-month mark at least. I was like, okay. So I like took the PTO and did all that, but I really just couldn't even make it to the 6-month mark. I mean, between all the old men coming in and being like, I love your shirt and like all these stupid things like that, I'm like, I don't even care if I have to pay you back for the PTO, I'm out. So, I mean, that was like a slightly shitty thing I did, but I love quitting jobs. Give me an opportunity to quit, I will. Like, really, seriously. That's how I know I love music, and that's how I know I love Jacob, because I run away from relationships, I run away from jobs, and if I feel in my heart, I'm like, no, I can never quit. That's how I know I got to stay, because I'm very prone to just running and quitting and all that. But yeah, I almost get excited thinking about quitting a job. Yeah. So I always encourage people, you don't like it, fuck off, quit. Who cares? Just do it. Don't hurt anybody, but fuck off and quit.
And quit. That's
You're only here for like, what? If you're lucky, 80, 90 years. And in those last 20, you don't want to do jack shit except fish and paint fucking pictures of boats. So do what you want, like do what you want. Quit the job. I don't know. I'm all about that. Easier said than done. But
yeah,
good
true,
for you.
True.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, but by the way, in full disclosure, so he doesn't look like a total jerk. Yeah, he gave a notice.
He didn't do it. I think I gave notice. I don't know. Yeah. But it was a while ago, but good. I'm very happy
he gave a little notice.
I'm sure.
But if you have
was
to,
a good lad about it.
if you have to just quit and walk out, so what? Quit and walk out. Like if it's,
I mean, there were so many weird things about it too, but I mean.
Yeah. Sounds like some sexual harassment going on.
Yeah, just casual. Yeah, actually, fun fact: I had to quit 2 or 3 of my post-college jobs because I was getting sexually harassed.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I was
like big corporations.
Big and small, but yeah, all of my bosses were men, and I don't like to be the poster child for this, but this is just, I'm not like a man hater. Most of my biggest supporters and collaborators are men. So it's like hurts me to say it, but yeah, I mean, it was, a ton of older dudes and just weird environments.
But not in the music industry, right? Like
the music industry, I mean, I sort of had things where I think some of the folks I've worked with have wanted me to sort of take on a softer approach with my look and the way I present myself and even my music, which I'm like, I was willing to do as I was kind of entering my late 20s, because I felt also in my heart, like, maybe it's time to mature or something. When you're starting to grow into yourself as a woman, in my opinion, like I've always been a tomboy, but for some reason there's always been a sense of immaturity attached to that. I don't know if it's a personal thing or the way people have viewed me, but I was like, oh, maybe it is time to just soften it up and grow up. And I have my days where I feel a little bit more feminine, a little bit more masculine or whatever, but yeah, I tried it out. It was cool, but I didn't get a ton of weird stuff in the music industry like that, other than I think I was at a mixer once and I told somebody my age. I think I was like, I'm turning 26 next week. And he's like, oh, you shouldn't have told me that. Way too old. He's like, you're never going to make it now.
On the Stacks will be back in a flash after a word from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Elevation Wellness, NEPA's premier wellness center located on Mundy Street in Wilkes-Barre. From pro athletes to busy parents, Elevation Wellness is leading the conversation when it comes to bettering your health through integrative medicine. Founded by NEPA native Louis Helmecke, Elevation Wellness offers physician-formulated and guided treatments that are administered by registered nurses. To learn more about how you can experience the benefits of IV vitamin therapy, multivitamin booster shots, non-invasive aesthetics, or peptide, NAD, red light, and compression therapy, visit elevation-wellness.com or follow them on Instagram at Elevation Wellness NEPA. All On the Stacks listeners will receive 10% off their first purchase with code STACKS at checkout. Call 570-762-9400 or visit elevation-wellness.com to book your appointment today. Elevation Wellness, taking your health to new heights. Welcome to the future. While you're hearing this ad in the present, the Center for Technology Innovation at Lackawanna College is preparing students for the jobs of tomorrow in the world of advanced technology. The Center for Technology Innovation will offer undergraduate degree programs, corporate training, as well as short-term stackable certificates in areas such as robotics, cybersecurity, electric vehicles, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence. Based at a 90,000 square foot facility in downtown Scranton, Pennsylvania, the Center for Technology Innovation is located 2 hours from the major cities of New York, New Jersey, and Philadelphia, and is just 15 minutes from a commercial airport in a region thriving with tourist attractions and a vibrant restaurant, educational, and cultural scene. Lackawanna College is a proven industry-leading innovator. But don't just take my word for it. Fast Company even recognized Lackawanna College's reputation for innovation by naming them to their top 10 list as one of the world's most innovative companies. For more information or to enroll, call 877-346-3552 or visit lackawanna.edu.
I have the privilege of representing people who have been injured through no fault of their own, and they come to us and they place a lot of trust in us, and we represent them against corporations and insurance companies, and we make those companies know that our clients have a story, that they deserve compensation, and I'm proud to be able to do that for our clients at Anzalone Law.
To learn more, visit Anzalone Law offices online at anzalonelaw.com. And now we're back on the stacks.
I signed my publishing deal when I was 28. And I'm working with a whole new team now, and I'm 30, and they think I have an entire lifetime ahead of me. So for something changed. That was maybe, it was a couple years ago. But yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. I also think it's like just like a society thing too.
Oh,
right?
completely.
Like it's
yeah. And
know.
even if I was the only, a lot of tours I've been on, it's been just me as a girl and the only girl there. And then I've been playing shows on certain bills. And if I was the only, I remember once I was about 19, I was playing a show at like Bitter End or something like that in New York. And I was wearing a crop top. I had short blonde hair, crop top, jeans, and I was playing keys. And I remember the band after me was a bunch of dudes probably twice my age, kept joking that they were going to put their keyboard player in a crop top, and they were just kept I know they probably meant it as funny or like they were drinking or something, but they just kept talking about me during their set, and I was just like, yeah, like give it up. It's not that funny.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of funny like the first time.
Yeah, right.
Okay, that's fine. But now it's like weird.
Yeah.
It's like weird.
Too much.
Yeah, just chill.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of like, don't comment on the appearance so much. I just feel like that's just like a no-no in general. It wouldn't matter if I was a dude. That'd be actually worse if I was a dude, if you think about it. You know what I mean? Because they'd be like, oh yeah, that guy should get a mohawk or whatever. And they'd be like almost bullying then. But
yeah, and like kind of forcing you to be like fit a certain mold or a certain image.
It's weird, but yeah.
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 So how do just as a musician, how do you walk that line of there's music executives that want you to either play music a certain way, create, write, all that goes with I'll say like that side of the business. That's I'll say like maybe someone's trying to tell you to create something that might be a little bit more sellable, right? Versus like what you actually want to create as the artist. Like, do you struggle with that? With that, when you're actually creating?
Yeah, I think there's always a point to the relatability aspect, I would say, but I find the more I tried to be relatable, the less relatable I was. So I think on the technical aspect of things, creating a song with a good structure and great melodies that you repeat often, you can't go wrong, no matter what you're saying. So that you can't go wrong. But I will say, in terms of remaining authentic, the people that you know and that you trust will understand what you do at your core as a creator and just try to grow that versus saying, hey, scrap that, do this, because it just won't work and it will feel stale. So it's really more about finding people you trust, because you'll be told things all the time. Think of like the biggest stars in the world. People still don't like Taylor Swift. People still don't like Adele. Name anybody, someone's like, I don't like them.
There's gonna be
So you
saying,
can't expect they should
change their style, or oh my god, they changed from this genre to that genre. Like, oh my god,
no one's ever happy. So it's like, to me, you can't ever really operate with the mindset of I'm gonna please everyone. But I think it's important to find people you trust and work collectively to create something that's just going to be stronger all around. But it always just has to kind of circulate around what you believe and what your team kind of believes in. So yeah.
So kind of speaking on that, I mentioned a few minutes ago about you getting back to kind of your roots of your music.
Yeah.
And you're working on some new music right now. So tell me about it.
So I've always been a rock music fan. All of my influences are rockers, Queen, Led Zeppelin, Pink, you name it. My first bands were rock bands, and I kind of went a little pop for my solo project. There's still elements, but I felt like it was important to distinguish myself as a solo artist from versus the band that I had just sort of made music with. So where I'm at now, I think combining these rock elements that I love, I mean, it's really more heavily based in rock, and then sort of with a pop structure, or, you know, that sort of sensibility is like where I'm headed. But yeah, lots of guitars, live drums. I'm going to do it up. I'm excited to make like a really good rock record that showcases my voice and a bunch of cool stories. I'm trying to get more into different unique stories too. A lot of my older rock stuff was very, I was in my early 20s, so there's a lot of longing, a lot of confusion, a lot of stress, a lot of drama, which I think is all really cool. But I'm able to now kind of come to a perspective as a 30-year-old woman to rock music. I think it'll be really special, you know, and I think I'm excited to just be that voice, whoever hears it, you know. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really, really, really excited. And we've been meeting so many cool people out here that are just gonna like light this shit on fire. Like, I'm so excited about it. And people seem to be excited about it when we get in the room with them, because you never know. You kind of always feel a little crazy when you start to make different decisions and things that maybe people might not expect. But to me, I'm gonna make this stuff because I love it. I'm kind of at this point now where I just want to love it, and then I genuinely think people will like it as well. But if they don't, at least I love it.
Yeah, where are you at with it?
We're in the early stages. We got instrumentals going. I have a lot of songs that I've written on both guitar and piano. And we've been meeting with a lot of cool co-writers here in Nashville that I'm trying to sort of get consistently involved with the project. So really just the writing and sort of experimenting with production phase. We need to figure out how we can balance heavy rock riffs and what tunings. Like, I've never really personally done any music as a solo artist in different tunings. So figuring that out. But then also keeping it attainable and also making sure that the melodies are still my melodies and my perspective. So fitting it all together and just figuring out that balance is kind of excruciating. But the closer we get to it, I'm like, okay, all right, we're closer and closer and closer. So
And there's a lot that goes into this.
yeah.
I think people don't realize.
Yeah, I mean, I care a lot about it too. I mean, part of me, I could probably just take outside songs and sing them, because I just, at the end of the day, I love singing. I'll sing anything, as long as it's good. But I mean, like, I feel like there's an attachment or there was an interest, or is an interest in some of the other stuff that I've done, and I just want to grow on what I've already shared, because I just feel like it's important to continue to write my story as it continues to grow. So it is a lot of work, but I mean, it's my work. That's everybody's job is tough. Even if you love your job, it's tough, you know.
Yeah. And by the way, I think everybody's wondering if we planned our black outfits here, or
No, we're just creative people.
I forgot the bandana though.
You got the hat.
Yeah, I got the hat. I guess that makes up. And you got the black boots. I got the white kicks. So.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. We're killing. I got a little white square on my pants right here.
All right, there we go.
There you go.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah.
They can't see that, but
No,
I see
we know it.
Yeah.
You and me, between the two of us, we know.
All right, yeah, fair enough. You got the tats on the
Got a bunch of tats.
on the left arm.
Yep.
Eric's trying to get a tattoo while we're in town here.
Cool.
I told him I was gonna get one too. Maybe by the time this episode comes out, we'll have Eric says he's gonna get cowboy boots and kidding.
Dude, do it.
He's getting a hat. Cowboy hat, cowboy boots tatted
Right
on
on his head.
Over his heart here
Oh yeah.
for Nashville.
Well, yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
Send pics.
yeah, we will.
Send pics.
But yeah, we don't know yet. We're debating it.
Okay.
yeah.
There's like a place by us. I mean, I don't know if it's any good,
Yeah.
but I seen it.
Okay, I was
so.
gonna say if you had any recommendations, we're taking them.
Yeah, I don't know the name at all, but I can direct you.
Okay.
And then you can go and see if it looks clean and.
Yeah. Send it to me after.
Check it out. Yeah, I
we'll
will.
check it out. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so back to like your creation of music. Like, where do you start? Like, how do you where do you begin?
To make something new?
Yeah.
Oh, so many places. It's been really, I've probably restarted trying to make a second record about 6 times now.
6.
6.
Like, start over. And it's not like scrapping of songs, but I'm really big into concepts and just sort of creating a world, and I want to create an even stronger world this time. But I realized, I was putting too much pressure on myself to make something amazing rather than just creating and then judging if it was amazing at the end, because that's what you're supposed to do.
So I will say it's been really tough to start lately. My writer's block, and I don't know if it's block, but I think my judgment of myself has also just been really intense.
Just kind of holding yourself to too high of a standard.
Yeah, I don't understand what that's about. Like I'll do this thing where I'll, play 4 chords on the piano and sing a melody. I'm like, oh, it's not as good as my other stuff. But like the other stuff took years, is fully produced, tuned, you name it. So it's like just being kinder to myself. But I guess my process sort of just starts by a lyric. I mean, I've been more into lyric and melody lately. Sometimes colors come after.
Okay.
I will say colors come after, but does
all that tie in?
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, eventually, and and into the videos and stuff too. It eventually will all tie in. But yeah, so usually a lyric or melody, and I just have to really love it. Like kind of what I said about quitting. I'm very quick to throw something away, but I feel so inclined to keep this in my life and to be attached to it. Yeah, once you know, you just know. And then it might take a really long time, and it might take an hour or two. Everybody hopes for those ones that just come out like this and they're awesome. But, and I've had some moments like that recently. Am I going to footsie you?
Go ahead, do it.
Kick it.
All right. Oh, there we go. Thank you. There we go.
No, I actually might do it now. But yeah, so everybody kind of hopes for those quick moments, but I've found myself really going back and critiquing. We saw Rhett Askin play the other day, and he kind of had mentioned, it was kind of like a writing round type thing, and he had kind of mentioned that, going back on a song and critiquing it so it's really perfect, even if it takes a day or two, it's worth it if it becomes a #1 song.
Right.
What really big investment of your time was that? If that was the difference between making it, a hit or not. So I've been because I heard that, I've been very open to doing that, not being so judgmental of myself. And it was only a couple weeks ago too, since I've been here. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna, Rhett said it was okay. So
just kind of trust the process.
Yeah. So seriously, I was like, okay, I can do that. That's, I shouldn't be so hard on myself. And Jake's very helpful too, and helped me figure out the direction that I want to go, and staying true to myself and my sound. But that's also, I think it's been difficult too to have my creative process again, because my with having my epilepsy and stuff, like I lost a lot of my normalcy. So I think kind of the thing that I've been holding on to, the last thing to go, is sort of the way that I make music. And so, like a lot of things changed. Like I had to relearn a lot of stuff. I went completely sober. It was during COVID when I was diagnosed. It was during a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff was happening. So my life changed in so many different ways. I can't really pinpoint why everything's different. It might be the epilepsy. It might not be. But I mean, my brain chemistry is completely different. The way my brain works is totally different now. So I think I'm just trying to accept that is a natural part of my story, that also my creative process was affected by that too, which has really been the only consistent thing in my life, is making stuff. So it was really hard to feel like that may have been infiltrated a little bit, but I'm really working on growing it. So I guess to answer your question, my creative process is being open to the creative process and just letting whatever come and just sit down at piano, sit down on guitar, and be kind to myself.
So in 2020, you were diagnosed with epilepsy?
Yeah, November 10th.
How does that happen?
Well, the actual diagnosis, or the what you need to do in order to get diagnosed, if anybody's interested in getting diagnosed, is have 2 seizures. You have to have 2 or more seizures, and then they say you're epileptic. That's a bit of it kind of doesn't make sense, because you can also have seizure disorders. It's all different, but I can get into that a little bit. But like seizure disorders are not necessarily occurring from activity in the brain. It could be external features like depression, hormones, anxiety, diet change.
Is there a way to pinpoint, trace back to how and why it happened?
For me,
I mean, you or anyone.
They don't really, unfortunately, epilepsy and seizure disorders are very confusing, and the brain is basically like a big piece of ground beef with electricity running through it, and nobody knows how it works and how it controls our entire lives. So they know very little, especially, I'm going to say it again, especially about women with epilepsy. 40% of women, their epilepsy is actually affected by their hormones, which I fall into that number as well. But they've never really found any brain activity that was triggering my seizures. They don't really know what part of my brain was being affected. There's still kind of, although my seizures are controlled now for about 2 years, they kind of don't even really know what it was. But because there was such a urgency to get it fixed, we just were trying everything that we could. So I was diagnosed on November 10th, 2020, because that night right before we were going to bed, I had like a seizure in the bed. EMTs came, they checked me out, they said I was fine. But I still just was like, we got to go to the hospital. I mean, I'm a healthy person. I can't just go to sleep and be like, oh, it's fine. Not fine. Everybody's freaked out. It's crazy. So we went to the ER. They checked me out. I was good. I was feeling really good. But then right as they were about to take me out, right as they were about to let me leave the hospital, it happened again. So I had another one. So then they kept me overnight. And basically a couple days later, I woke up with Jake saying to me over my face, he's like, okay, honey, so they've diagnosed you with epilepsy. And my first question was, am I going to be able to ever go on stage again because of the lights?
Right.
Which is a common misconception. Photosensitive epilepsy is actually the least common form of epilepsy. And it's the only traceable trigger are lights. So that's kind of, I think, why most people do know about it, because everything else,
that's kind of all I really...
Yeah, me too.
That's why I associate
That's
it
why
with,
I literally woke up, was diagnosed, and I was like, well, what about the lights?
Yeah, we probably should have asked before we started turning on all these lights.
Eric was actually extremely thoughtful because every time he
good.
turned a light on, he's like, all right, I'm going to turn a light on, just watch it.
Yep.
So I actually really appreciated that. I said thank you, but I genuinely was like, oh, thank God. Because sometimes on music video shoots or on stage, it is, I do have a light sensitivity for sure, but that's definitely not something that has triggered my seizures ever, really. I hope it stays that way.
Wood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so knock on wood. But
so you had to relearn everything you said? Or a lot of things?
A lot of things. And it's good to mention too that I was having them every month after that. It continued.
After that hospital
So
exit.
I kind of took like a 6 months hiatus because I was extremely over medicated. So my quality of life was terrible, but I wasn't having any seizures. So that was okay, but it was like I don't remember anything from that time period.
Like it was just a blur.
It was a total blur. And it's unfortunate because people who do have really radical cases need to have some control. And being over-medicated is a real way of life for a lot of people, and with other illnesses too. I can't speak on them, but that is a thing. So, so I was over-medicated for 6 months, and then my neurologist was like, yeah, you can change medicine. It won't be a big deal. It was a big deal. So I switched medicines, and then the following 6 months, I was in the hospital every month because I was having cluster seizures out of nowhere, but Jake eventually realized they were all happening at the same, basically almost within 3 days of each other every month. So that's how we figured out my hormones had to play a role.
This guy figured it out?
Yeah.
This guy right here?
Yeah, he saved my life. Like legit, and not to mention every single time I had a seizure, he was luckily with me. So every time, and so many people that have epilepsy, it's not just the seizures. They wake up with dislocated shoulders, broken teeth, anything. You break anything, you literally can just drop and fall. It's terrible. But every single time I woke up, I was like unscathed because he was there. And it's just like I feel so blessed for that situation, and I wish that for many other people who have to go through these types of things. But yeah, Jake figured out my medicine combination. He was the one that figured it out.
Isn't that crazy how that happens sometimes?
Yeah, he's the only one that was really living with me and really paying attention to me. And I didn't have the ability to do that for myself because I was really ill.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was all over it.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a good troubleshooter. That's what a good audio engineer should be like. A good music person.
Figure it out.
Troubleshooting everything, yeah. So, but yeah, he figured it out. So that was crazy. But yeah.
Like what were some of the things like you had to relearn?
So when I would open up certain computer programs, they were all kind of like switched around for me. Like, stuff that kind of when you're familiar with something, you can just open it up and it's
kind of
totally,
where things
so
are.
like those pathways were just all gone.
Like you kind of didn't have direction.
I was just like, it's like I would open up Photoshop or Logic and I would just be like,
almost as if it was like brand new.
What am I looking for? Yeah, like my short-term memory was atrocious. So trying to relearn took a while. Playing piano was very different for me for a while. Reading and speaking was very different for me for a while.
I can't imagine. Like at the core of everything that you do
was
as a musician was basically lost.
Was very affected. Yeah, so Yeah, because I have a suspicion because of some of my side effects that they happen in my temporal lobe, because I also had issues with my speech prior to or in between seizures too. I developed something called aphasia, where I was actually speaking backwards and having these sort of hour-long episodes where I couldn't understand speech. And I was getting these terrible headaches, and then I was speaking backwards. And I mean, my speech was completely jacked up. My ability to understand was completely jacked up. So that was a part of it too. And just that, it was sort of, they started turning into these like panic episodes where I was like, oh my God, like I can't. And then, from that, it would be like, am I going to have a seizure? What's going on? Obviously, things were really messed up. You don't just talk backwards. It's actually something people develop, aphasia, something people develop before they start moving into like dementia. So people 60 and older experience aphasia.
I've heard that before, yeah.
Not me. I think Bruce Willis was diagnosed. Was that, am I correct in saying that?
I think he was.
Yeah, which is, I really, I pray for him when I hear stuff like that, because it's really weird. It's really scary. Yeah. So just kind of everything that you just do without thinking about it, like your natural habitual pathways,
all things like we all take for granted.
Decimated. Yeah. I mean, there are so many things that I took for granted before. But just my general health and well-being, being able to wake up and not have to take a bunch of pills and, so many different things. But I will say it's also, there's really, now that my quality of life is back, there's been a lot of good that's come out of it too. Like I don't drink any caffeine, I don't drink alcohol, I don't smoke, I don't do anything that affects, no energy drinks, completely sober and clean. I try to keep sugar low, but I live with Jake, so, he's a guy that will pound 6 Krispy Kremes, And he looks like freaking Adonis. It's like really rude, but
yeah, not fair.
So yeah, I gotta live with that. Yeah. But other than that, he helped me out. He saved my life, so he can have some donuts once in a while.
He's allowed the donuts.
Yeah, he earned it.
How about your mindset? Like, how is it? Like, what's your outlook now after going through all that? Because I think, obviously you have a huge passion, obviously for music, but I mean, somebody could have just in the middle of all that just said, screw it. Like, and maybe sort of just kind of, because you had to relearn a lot of things. Maybe you felt like you lost your touch with certain things, whether it's the piano or vocal or whatever it is. Like, and I don't know. I mean, obviously, like you said, you're the person who you're like, oh, if I love this, I'm doing it. But I mean, how has it affected your outlook?
So my outlook is interesting. It's just very real now, because like other illnesses or really just life in general, it's like, as well, as much as I have a control right now with my medicines and things like that, there's no guaranteeing that this is over at all. Even people who've been seizure-free for 9-10 years that I've spoken to are waiting any day now for it to come back or to relapse. It's kind of similar. Anybody I've spoken to that's had cancer or cancer coming back and things like that, any day now you could be back in that world. So I just try to be very grateful for the days that I have health, and I try to understand that I'm not off scot-free, but nobody is. I'm just a little bit more aware of the goodness in my life and what I can lose. But I will say there was a fortunate and unfortunate timing with my epilepsy diagnosis. I had those 2 seizures the night before I was going to sign my publishing deal, and then months later I also signed my record deal, both in the hospital. I was in the hospital for both of them, and I really think if that wasn't happening and I had to really get up and make music and do something and keep pushing forward, I actually don't know what would have happened. I don't, because it would have been a really great opportunity to be like, I'm taking a break. I can't handle this. But there was work to be done, and that's been, again, it's been my consistent outlet and release. So there was no pushing that out of my life. But yeah, my outlook, I think, is just very real, and I definitely am more compassionate towards other people now, because there's so many hidden illnesses, and whether it's anxiety or a physical ailment or anybody in the disability community that, I mean, so many people in the disability community that it's just the world was not built for. And I only have understood a sliver of it. So, I just have a lot more compassion for what's going on in the world around me. So, again, I think that's also made me a little bit better, a little more kind.
If you weren't doing music, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
Oh, I wish I had 100 million lives. Like, seriously, I'd love to be a painter, a chef.
We should have traded with the
I know, a hairstylist.
right?
Yeah, everything. I would do everything. I
He's
love.
got great hair too. By the
Oh,
way. Look at
yeah,
him.
I cut it. I cut his hair.
That's right, you do.
Yeah, I cut it all the time. I cut my own hair. I bleached both of our heads. That's why we have the same length of roots right now.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
So yeah,
You guys are in sync with your
constantly.
not the band, but in sync. You know, with.
I'd love to be in sync.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
got a Lance vibe going on right now.
He does. Look at this
Nice
guy.
blonde hair.
Sheesh.
Anyway,
guy. But yeah, hairstylist.
Hairstylist. I'd love to do that. I feel like there's other stuff. I'd love to be a chef, tattoo artist. I love tattoos and drawing. Fitness instructor.
You can draw Eric's tattoo right now.
I'll draw it, man.
He's getting it. Whatever she draws, you're getting.
No, I won't do that to you. But yeah, like.
No, you are.
Okay.
Yeah, you're yep.
That's fine.
Eric's getting whatever you draw.
Yeah, I would do anything. I would really do anything. I enjoy so much that I always joke, like when we were, getting really into the gym, I'm like, you know what? I want to be a personal trainer. And like Jake's like always like, you can't just have a hobby. You need to like capitalize on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I just love it. I want to do as best as you can do in that thing. I'd also secretly love to be like somebody who gives waters to the football players in the NFL, just to be there, but I know nothing. I can't be helpful.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about football other than just being a fan.
Are they water boys? I think they're like interns.
I always wondered. I have no idea.
Like the ones that run out on the field and they just like
with stuff,
squirt
they
the water,
squirt
the water bottle in the mouth,
they
right?
get cursed out. Yeah, I just
Do they get
kind of.
cursed out?
I don't know. I always feel like
hope
they.
not.
I feel like it might be
I hope
like,
they
all right,
don't.
get out of here.
Yeah, I feel bad.
No, they
for
don't
them.
deserve it.
They
obviously.
don't. They don't. They're like the heroes.
No, they're giving you your water. But yeah, I just to be like on the field at that level would be so cool. Because I love football too. But yeah, stuff like that. Anything really.
Yeah.
Museum docent. I love museums. Just to walk around in a museum all day and just like, cool.
Just chilling out in the museum.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
loaded question, but all those things.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
yeah. I wish I could be here forever, but
Yeah.
it's okay. Music's first. Music stole my heart first. So gotta
And
go with that.
haircuts second.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that Jake wants me to cut his
Yeah,
hair
next time
or
we come
allows
here,
me.
I'll save my haircut. I got my haircut the day before he came here.
I got you.
I'll save it when we
I
come
got
here.
you.
I'll grow mine out a little so mine can be as cool looking as
yeah,
his. But
yeah. I buzz. I do barber stuff. I do this.
doing it all. I see.
I bleach.
Edward Scissorhands.
He had blue hair at one point. I had
April
pink
Scissorhands.
hair. Right. It's really fun. You just gotta. I'm just not very quick at it because I take my time, but. That's better than to. You can't uncut hair, so you gotta
This
be
is
slow.
true. Yeah, a little bit at a time.
Gotta be slow.
Yeah, ease into it. Because yeah.
You don't want- yeah.
Oh
that's
my
not
God,
good.
I used to cut my own hair
How did it
in
go?
college. Not good.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
difficult. I have a hard
Yeah.
time getting the back. Like mine's a little longer in the back than I would like because I can't really get to it. But
Yeah, I've always wondered like who's the barber's barber? Who's the stylist?
who is it?
Stylist.
I guess a friend.
Right?
No, I do know a woman that used to dye my hair. She always did her own hair, and it just always looked so cool, so unique. Like you'd never think.
Some
like
of them do.
yeah, so they can do it, but
They get high on their own supply.
yeah, man, why not?
Yeah. Yeah. One time I was cutting my hair. I think I was in college. I was in college. Yeah. Either in college or right after college. I was home, like living at home still. And I, had the clippers and, here we go on the back of my
no.
head. My God, if my mom's watch right now, she will laugh her ass off because like she remembers this happening. And, I had the right setting, but they were like a cheap pair, whatever. And go to do the back. And, you can tell, I know, you probably know because you do this one, right? By the sound, kind of how much you're cutting off. Am I right?
100%.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, that was kind of the sound it made.
It kind of sounds like a jet diving. That's when you know
Yes.
you've gone too far.
Was that a good sound?
Yeah, it was brilliant.
So, yeah. So you by that sound. It was the first swipe. First swipe.
Did you not have like the guard on?
I don't know. It was just like a cheapo little thing.
Yeah,
By the
but
way,
sometimes if you go to it gets.
I ended up like getting a better pair after that. Actually, then I ended up just saying like, I just need to actually stop being a cheapo and just go
Pay
I
the 20, 40
I went and
bucks.
paid my
Yeah,
$20, but
yeah.
no, but I actually did still keep cutting after. I bought like just like a better pair, but yeah, I had a huge like a streak like this big, like that, that wide, that long, right in the back.
Yeah.
And I just had to walk around look like an idiot for a few weeks.
You're not the only one. My
I
mom.
tried to blend it in like as best as I could, but
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do even when you know what you're doing, but
Yeah.
my mom, this is a funny story. My mother raised both my brother and I, and she was newly divorced right at the head of the recession. So, we were trying to cut corners and save money as much as we could, but my brother was a 12-year-old boy. And he wanted like a cool, like fade, kind of cool, like, you know, like those tapered kind of. My brother's got this thick, gorgeous Italian hair, or Italian American, whatever, hair. So my mom was trying to save a buck and just do the buzz herself, but it I can't. We all know, me and my brother and my mom know the story, but she basically shaved it back too far, and then it was like he was trying to do a square, and like I didn't see any of it, but all I heard was screaming and buzzing, and then the vacuum, because she kept trying to have to vacuum up his hair, but we wound up just buzzing it off. But oh my god, it was horrible.
That's hilarious.
It looked terrible.
It's hilarious. Yeah, I think I screamed after mine too.
Yeah, it's not good.
My mom used to actually help me a little bit too. Sometimes I couldn't see, you know. But
she was doing the best she could, and we were just trying to save some money. But was that funny? I
feel like everybody has had to at least cut their own hair at some point.
I know I cut my brother's hair when I was a baby too with a pink Barbie scissor because my mom took it away and I was heartbroken.
Nice. Yeah, I cut mine one time when I was a kid, like a little kid. I forget how old I was, but you know. I don't know who wasn't watching me, but I got a pair of scissors and like I had like bangs, like hair, like kind of like down here, and I cut my hair like big chunk, like huge missing chunk, like right here in the middle. I forget how old I was, but there's like a school picture of me with that really bad haircut. So I have a habit actually. This is a history. I have a previous history of giving myself bad haircuts.
It's fun. It's a very creative thing to cut your hair. So it's just and it's exciting.
Yeah.
To just
you know, and then it stalled out. It stalled out. Oh. I was very upset.
All the hair's stuck in there.
Very upset. Yeah. All right. Anyway, we went down a rabbit hole of cutting our own hair, but it's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. Everyone's
you know?
got that story.
Yeah, of course. So, how can our listeners find your music online? Where can they connect with you? When's the new music coming out?
New music probably by next year, and then everything that you need to find me by is just my full name. It's April Rose Gabrielli. April like the month, Rose like the flower, and Gabrielli.
Is there a color associated with all this?
My name is red.
Red? Mm-hmm. Like the rose?
I guess, yeah, all of them, even separate. April sometimes is green to me, but the full name...
Green, I see.
Yeah, sometimes my name isolated is green, just April. But my last name's definitely red always, and Rose is red or pink always. Yeah, but some people think it is like red rose, but sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I don't know. It's really weird. I can't explain it. I don't try to get too I don't even know much about it, so I try not to be like an elitist because I'm like not at all. It's just it's probably just in line with all the other brain stuff that goes on. So.
Well, thanks for having me, man. Like this is just great. Like
thanks for coming by.
Congrats on this. I'm sorry we destroyed. Like we ripped apart your studio.
No, man, you made it look awesome. And we're in the beginning phases here, and I just hope to have a really great, long, successful history here on Music Row. It's a historical few blocks in Nashville that all the greats got to make music at and music on, and it's surreal to be out here where that was happening. And now we're here.
This is exciting, and kind of surreal how it all happens. Like even us coming here and reconnecting with you guys.
It all worked out.
Yeah, because I remember we were texting a while back, and I was like, maybe if you're ever up home visiting, up northeastern Pennsylvania way again, maybe we'll somehow reconnect. And then I forget how long after that text, I was like, hey, I think I'm coming to Nashville. Yeah. So what's up? What's going on?
Very soon after, really.
Yeah.
So.
No, this is great. Really, really cool studio.
Yeah,
love it.
Thanks for coming by.
Love the green.
Thanks.
Yep. No, this is great. So I appreciate you guys letting us use the space and
of course
hanging out
always
with you for
welcome.
A bit. And we forgot to give our boy out there a shout out.
Who?
Johnny.
Johnny
I definitely called him by his last name or his wrong
he goes
name.
by Johnny Nightmare.
What did I call him? Wrong?
Jimmy. I
called him Jimmy.
It's funny as hell.
He's forever Jimmy. So,
yeah, Jimmy.
Sorry, Johnny.
Johnny Nightmare. He's one of if you've seen me or Jake traveling for shows, he does a lot of our live video, a couple music videos. He's good. He's a grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's coming to town. I think for the first or second time. I think he was on tour with us here once, but he's in town for real for a little bit. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this is great.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
It's an honor.
Yeah. April Rose Gabrielli on the Stacks OTS Roadshow, Nashville, Tennessee. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
If you want to see more On the Stacks content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/onthestackspodcast or search the hashtag On the Stacks on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn.